So you're making, you're creating, and I think innately, I think all of us as humans are creators. It's just we do it in different ways. Whether it's a YouTube video, whether it's writing, whether it's you're doing something much more physical. Um, I think when did you realize that you were onto something, and when did it start to get serious? You're obviously working in the corner of a colleague's cabinet making shop, and you must sounds like you started to enjoy not only the welding and iron making, but also the woodworking and cabinet making. So,
Yeah.
when did you start to realize that this is something you could really get serious about? When did that happen?
When I sold that first piece of furniture,
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I knew pretty much right away, and it was really about the money at that particular point. Uh, I
Survival.
had I had grown up as a graffiti artist, and I was using graffiti as my way to be rebellious and still be an artist, and the way to tie those together. However, I turned it into a business. I started a company called Graffiti Graphics, and I basically took my crew of graffiti artists and went out and sold them as a, we'll paint your, music venue. We'll paint for bands. We painted for all the Lollapalooza concerts. Like, we really turned it into a business. And while I wasn't the best graffiti artist, I was good at selling myself and could sell this young group of, illegals, into a, legal venue, right? And
Mm.
so I knew I had something that was entrepreneurial. When I became a furniture maker, um, there wasn't a chance that I wouldn't sell this stuff. I wasn't going to be a garage, maker. And later on, I realized that it's going to be a long road to the success that I want, right? Pushing wood through a table saw it's a tough job. Making a kitchen of cabinets is a tough job. And I remember one day pushing these wood through the saw and thinking, I'm never going to get that lake house by doing this. Like, it's too long. It's too hard. It's going to take forever. So I need to learn how to do this at scale,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And that kind of drove that one decision, that one time that I was probably, making, 45 of the same exact part through the saw all day long. I probably learned that I got to do something different. And so I shut my business down and I went to work for Pottery Barn, which is it's a huge
Yep.
retailer here in the US.
We have them
Um,
here. We have them
you
here,
have
I think, as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And at the time, they were like the biggest thing ever. They were the most popular, the most, like, it was the craze back then. And I went to work for them, and I realized, boy, I'm just gonna be stuck here in San Francisco in their office. And so I showed them a few problems, right? I kind of may or may not have, pointed out a few things that I probably elevated as being a problem, so that I could show them that I could fix it, so that I could go to the factories overseas and fix these problems for them. This
Right.
young kid,
Yep.
20 something, but I would go and fix it. And soon I became Pottery Barn's fixer.
Right.
And it was a great time. And what I was really doing, it was eye on the prize, right? I was going there to study these giant factories overseas and
Hmm.
figure out, like, okay, now this is how you make something at scale. This is how you build and how you can build a business, right? I had no teachers. I bet you're going to ask me the mentor question. Everyone always asks, well, who was your mentors, right? Well, in a way, that was my mentorship, right? It was
Yeah.
these factories that kind of like guided me along and really showed me how to do it at scale.
Yeah.